The McDonald's on Melrose Avenue was quiet that afternoon. Bright sun outside, steady hum inside. A few customers sipped sodas, some kids played lazily on tablets. A normal Los Angeles day, until Keanu Reeves walked in. No camera crew, no flash, just Keanu, calm, unassuming, polite as ever. The cashier stuttered, slightly recognizing him. But Keanu offered a gentle smile and ordered with his usual grace. As he waited by the counter, something strange happened. A little boy, sitting alone near the play area, stared at him. Not the usual starstruck stare, this was different. Focused. Still. Keanu Reeves tilted his head, offering a quiet, friendly nod. The boy stood up. He couldn't have been more than 5. Curly brown hair, small build. No adult nearby, no happy meal in front of him, just empty space and silence. He walked straight to Keanu Reeves, stopping just inches away. He said nothing for a moment. Then he leaned forward, barely whispering. "He's in the walls." Keanu blinked. "What was that?" "Don't say it loud. He listens when people talk about him." There was no humor in the boy's face. No smile, no game. Keanu Reeves knelt down slowly, keeping his voice calm. "Hey, what's your name?" "Eli. Are you here alone?" Eli looked over his shoulder, then up at the ceiling. "He took my sister." The words hit like a cold splash. "Who did?" Keanu asked, more gently now. "The man with the blurry face. He hides in buildings, in vents. He watches from the ceiling." Keanu looked around. Nobody else seemed to notice the boy. No panicked parent, no babysitter, just a child with terror written across his face. "Eli," Keanu said softly, "come sit with me for a minute." He led Eli to an empty booth near the window. Customers chatted nearby. Fries sizzled in the back. The ordinary rhythm of the world continued, but not for Eli. Keanu Reeves sat beside him, lowering his voice. "Can you tell me more about what happened to your sister?" She told a teacher about him. That night, she said she heard scratching under her bed. The next morning, she was gone. They said she ran away, but you don't believe that. Eli shook his head slowly. "I heard her. She screamed. I didn't say anything then, but now I have to. Before he comes for me too." Keanu gently took out his phone. Eli flinched. "No, please. He doesn't like phones." "It's okay," Keanu said, lowering the screen slightly. "I just want to call someone who can help you. You're not alone." Eli's eyes welled up, but he didn't cry. "If you call, he'll know." Keanu hesitated, then pressed the emergency dial anyway. 911, what's your emergency? "My name is Keanu Reeves. I'm at the McDonald's on Melrose and 8th. There's a boy here named Eli. He says his sister's missing and someone may be hiding in the building. I know this might sound strange, but I believe him. He's scared, please send help." The dispatcher replied calmly, "We're dispatching officers. Stay with the child and keep him safe." As Keanu ended the call, Eli stared up at the vents above them. "You're not safe anymore either." A strange chill passed through Keanu, but he stayed composed. "What do you mean?" Eli didn't respond. Instead, he pointed to the metal vent above the kitchen area. "That's where he comes in." At that moment, a loud snap echoed from the kitchen. The lights flickered once. No one screamed. Nothing dramatic, but something changed. Keanu Reeves looked over toward the play area. The sound had come from the ceiling near it. Ella's voice dropped to a near whimper. "He knows I told you." Keanu stood protectively between Eli and the vent, eyes narrowed. Soon 2 police officers entered the restaurant. One of them spotted Keanu immediately. "Mr. Reeves?" Keanu nodded and gestured toward Eli. "That's him. He's alone. He says someone took his sister. And that someone is here." The first officer approached Eli slowly. "What's your last name, buddy?" But Eli wasn't listening. He was looking up again. "He's crawling." One officer stepped onto a chair, aiming his flashlight at the ceiling vent. Dust shimmered under the beam. "I don't see anything." Then he stopped. 2 small glowing orbs reflected back from the vent. They blinked and vanished. The officer jumped down fast. "There's someone in there." The manager approached, confused. "There's no access to those ducts. They've been sealed off for years." Keanu's instincts flared. He placed his hand protectively on Eli's shoulder. "This isn't normal. There's something here." Suddenly, the restaurant lights cut out. All of them. For 2 seconds, pitch black. Then light returned. But something was different. A chair near the play area had fallen. No one had moved. A woman gasped. A child started crying in the corner. The back hallway door swung slowly on its hinge. The second officer who had gone to investigate the fuse box hadn't returned. Keanu's voice broke the silence. "Where's your partner?" The remaining officer looked toward the back. "He went to check the box. Should have come right back." No one moved. Then, the overhead speaker system crackled. The pop song that had been playing stuttered and died. More silence. Eli was trembling. "I told you," he whispered to Keanu. "He's awake now." Keanu didn't let go of him. More people were now aware that something was very wrong. A teenage boy was filming with his phone. A woman asked loudly, "What's going on?" The officer radioed for immediate backup. Keanu whispered again to Eli, "It's going to be okay, I promise." But Eli only repeated one word, No. Keanu Reeves hadn't let go of Eli's hand since the lights flickered back on. The little boy sat quietly beside him, but his eyes moved constantly, darting from the ceiling vents to the shadows behind the soda machine. The police backup had arrived minutes later. 3 more officers, calm, but visibly tense. The one who went into the back hallway still hadn't returned. Radios clicked, barked orders. The manager was speaking nervously with one officer about blueprints and air vents and crawl spaces, but Keanu's mind was focused on something else. The boy had told him about a sister, Amira, taken by something that hides in buildings, a blurry-faced man. It sounded like a child's nightmare. But the way he'd spoken, the detail, the fear, it wasn't fiction. Keanu Reeves wasn't a stranger to trauma. He'd known loss. He recognized grief when he saw it, and Ely, he was drowning in it. A female officer knelt down near the booth. Ely, sweetie, what's your last name? Eli hesitated. Raza, do you know your birthday? October 3rd. Keanu noticed her expression change. Her eyes darted to the radio. We have a match, she murmured. Then to Keanu. There's a missing persons report from last week. Eli Raza, 5 years old, reported missing from Echo Park. Both he and his sister were declared at risk. Keanu blinked. Wait, so, he's been missing too? She nodded. They thought he might have run away after his sister disappeared. Eli looked down. I didn't run away. I followed the scratching. Keanu leaned in. What scratching? From the closet. It was calling my name. I followed it, but I ended up in a basement. Not ours. Cold. I climbed out a window and kept walking. I don't know how long. Keanu swallowed hard. The boy was describing something impossible, and yet, something about his words felt real. How did you get here? To this McDonald's. Eli shrugged. I just kept walking until I saw it. It felt safe. Like the light wouldn't go out here. Keanu looked at the officers. You need to check the duct system, the vents. If someone's up there. We already have a K9 unit sweeping the back, one officer said. But no dog barked. No report came back. Just more static. Are your cameras working? Keanu asked the manager. The man looked stunned. They should be. The officer gave a nod, and the manager hurried to the office. Keanu turned back to Eli. Tell me about your sister. Amira. Eli's face changed, like a storm cloud passing over. She used to hum at night. It made the bad thoughts go away. She said I was her little warrior. Keanu's jaw tightened. What happened the day she disappeared? She had bruises on her arms. Said she saw something in the school bathroom mirror. Said it smiled at her. But she didn't smile back, so it followed her. Eli looked directly into Keanu's eyes. She said if you smile back, it lets you go. But if you don't, it takes someone you love. Keanu felt a cold wind pass through him, though the air was still. The manager returned from the office pale. The cameras, they're frozen. What do you mean? The officer asked. I mean, they're all stuck. At the same moment. 2:37 p.m. Just static after that. Like the building blinked. Eli tugged on Keanu's sleeve. That's when he walked in, through the walls. Everyone turned to Eli. You saw him? Eli nodded. Not his face. It's blurry like someone erased it. But I saw his hand. Long fingers, black nails. Keanu Reeves felt a knot tighten in his chest. The officer turned on her radio again. Dispatch, we have multiple anomalies here. Requesting surveillance team and thermal imaging inside building. A static. Dispatch, do you copy? A more static. A sharp screech. Then silence. The line died. Eli curled tighter into Keanu's side. He's close. Who? Eli. He doesn't have a name. He uses yours when he talks. Like your voice, but wrong. Keanu stared down at the boy. He used my voice. Eli nodded. Last night, I heard you. From under my bed. But I hadn't met you yet. The temperature dropped. Not imagined. Real. One of the officers rubbed her arms. It's freezing in here all of a sudden. Keanu stud. I want this place evacuated. That's not protocol, the officer said. Forget protocol, Keanu said. Get everyone out, now. His voice carried weight. Authority. Even the officer flinched slightly. They began moving customers out. Some protested, others obeyed quickly once they saw the looks on the officers' faces. Within 5 minutes only Eli, Keanu, and the officers remained. Then came a sound no one expected. A voice from the intercom system. But not music. Not a person. Keanu Reeves heard his own voice echo through the restaurant. It's okay, Eli, I'm here. Come with me. Let's go find your sister. The officers froze. That's not the feed. The manager said. There's no mic system for that. Keanu stepped forward. Turn it off. I can't. Then silence again. The intercom went dead. Eli looked up. Hez pretending to be you. The female officer pointed toward the back hallway. We're going in. I'm going with you, Keanu said. She hesitated. You're not trained. Hez here because of me? Keanu replied. He spoke in my voice. That's not coincidence. Let me help. She nodded. Keanu told Eli to stay with the front officer. But Eli clung tighter. He wants you alone. I'll be okay. Eli whispered. He doesn't want to take you. He wants you to take him. The back hallway was dim. The air smelled old. Not like fries and grease, but something damp, metallic, ancient. Keanu and the officer moved slowly. Her flashlight flickered. Batteries new, she murmured. The hallway opened to the stock room. Boxes of ketchup and straws. Nothing unusual, until they saw the floor. Scratches, deep ones. Circular, spiraling inward like something had been dragged, or had spun violently in one place. The officer raised her radio again. We have markings. Possible forced entry. Then a crash behind them. They spun. The door had closed, slammed. Keanu reached for the handle, locked. Suddenly, the room turned darker. Not lights out dark, but like something pressed down over the air. A shape shifted near the far wall. The flashlight caught movement, barely. A blur. Like a shadow that refused to hold shape. Then, a whisper. In Keanu's own voice, I know where she is. The officer aimed her weapon. Show yourself! The shape laughed. No echo, no tone. Just cold. The officer stepped back. Keanu stood firm. Then the shape vanished, and the lights returned. The door clicked open. The other officer stood outside, gun drawn. Everything okay? Keanu didn't answer. He said he knows where Amira is. Back in the lobby, Eli looked up as Keanu returned. You saw him? Keanu nodded slowly. I did. Did he hurt you? No. But I think he wanted me to follow. Eli's hands tightened around Keanu's. I want to go with you. Keanu looked at the officers. We need to search the building. But not the way we are now. I need gear, lights, tech. One officer nodded. We'll coordinate with LAPD and Homeland. No, Keanu said. Get someone who believes the unbelievable. Someone who listened to a 5-year-old and a vent that talks. They looked at him strangely. But Eli didn't. He just whispered. You believe me now, don't you? Keanu Reeves nodded. I do. Keanu Reeves stared at the darkened stockroom door, now taped off by police. Forensics hadn't found anything tangible. No prints, no entry points, only the spiral scratch marks and residual cold spots. But Keanu knew the truth. So did Eli. The boy sat beside him again in the now empty McDonald's. Cleanup crews would come in the morning. But no one had dared enter the back hallway since the incident. Eli hadn't said much in hours. He just watched the door, waiting. Keanu finally broke the silence. Do you think she's still alive? Eli didn't look away. Yes, but not for long. Keanu exhaled slowly. Then we're going in. The police wouldn't allow it. Mr. Reeves, this is officially a missing persons and federal anomaly case, the lieutenant said. Keanu stood calmly. And I'm not asking for permission. Eli stepped forward beside him, gripping a worn stuffed toy. A small rabbit matted from age. She's waiting for me. There was something in the boy's eyes that quieted the room. The lieutenant sighed. Then you're not going in alone. They brought in specialized equipment, infrared scanners, pulse monitors, atmospheric sensors. Eli ignored all of it. He walked straight to the back hallway, gripping Keanu's hand. It's not really the stockroom, Eli said softly. What is it? It's a doorway, but it only opens if it wants to. Keanu glanced at the flickering light overhead. It buzzed once, then went dark. The air changed. The smell of grease faded, replaced by something damp, metallic. The hallway seemed to stretch longer than before. One officer stepped back. This isn't right. But Keanu and Eli were already walking forward. With each step, the floor changed. Tiles gave way to something like concrete. Then stone. The sound of buzzing lights was replaced by faint whispers, like voices pressed between layers of walls. At the end of the hall stood a mirror, cracked, tinted gray. Eli pointed. She's behind that. Keanu stepped forward and placed his hand on the glass. The mirror rippled, like water disturbed. Suddenly, darkness swallowed them. When Keanu opened his eyes, he wasn't in McDonald's anymore. The floor was wood, old warp. The smell was mildew and dust. They were in a child's bedroom, but not in this world. Wallpaper peeled in long strips. A single toy chest sat in the corner. The bed was small, pink sheets faded. Stuffed animals lined the shelves. Eli looked around. This was her room, before she disappeared. Keanu's voice was tight. How do you know? I've seen it. In dreams. Suddenly the closet door creaked. Eli backed up. He's here. A shape stepped out, tall, unmoving. But its face, still unseeable, like someone had smudged it away with wet fingers. Its voice echoed. But now it wasn't mimicking Keanu. It was Amira. Eli, why didn't you help me? The boy froze. I tried. I was scared. The blurry man stepped closer. You didn't smile back. So I took her. Keanu stepped between them. She's a child. Let her go. The blurry man tilted his head. You came into my place, my silence. You brought noise. Keanu's jaw clenched. She doesn't belong to you. She belongs to fear, to guilt, to forgetting. Eli shook his head. She belongs with me. The room trembled. From the walls hundreds of whispering voices emerged, soft, scared, pleading. Children. Lost. The blurry man stretched his hand forward, but Eli didn't step back. Instead he smiled. Honest, I forgive you. Keanu turned, shocked. The blurry man paused. Something changed. His shape began to break apart like smoke dissolving in wind. The whispers grew louder, then stopped, and then a mirror appeared, not ghostly, not broken, whole. She stood in the closet doorway, 10 years old, tear-streaked, but alive. Lee, he ran to her. They embraced tightly. She wept into his shoulder. Keanu stood frozen, stunned. Amira whispered, I was trapped in a place made of fear. Every time I cried, it grew darker. But Eli smiled. That broke the wall. The mirror behind them shimmered. Eli turned. Where can go now? Keanu held their hands. They stepped through the mirror and woke up. Back in the McDonald's, officers rushed forward. Keanu, Eli, and Amira blinked as the lights buzzed back on. One officer checked them. All normal vitals. The lieutenant stared. Where did she come from? Keanu said nothing, but Eli looked up. She was with me, in the dark, but she came back. The lieutenant shook his head. This doesn't make sense. Keanu finally spoke. Not everything is meant to. 1 week later, Keanu visited Eli and Amira at the foster home. Their parents had died years ago. Distant relatives were being contacted. But for now, they were together safe. Eli handed Keanu something, the stuffed rabbit. He says thank you. Keanu smiled. For what? For coming back with me. Most grown-ups wouldn't. Amira sat beside them. He's not like most grown-ups. Keanu looked out the window. For the first time in years the world didn't seem so grey. Later that night, Keanu stood in his own apartment. He pulled out a box. Old photos, letters, among them a picture of a girl. His sister Julia, lost when they were kids, never found. He had buried that memory. Until Keanu closed his eyes. I'm sorry I never smiled back. He felt warmth, like sunlight on skin. No reply came, but he knew she heard him.